Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. We're going to close out the show talking about an issue that's very important here in the Atlanta area. I'm here with Erica Reed, and we're going to give you some stats about human trafficking.
Really quick, I want to tell people I think it's very important to start off with the definition of human trafficking, at least give a small snippet of the definition. Human trafficking, of course, is a crime. And it's a crime of exploitation, meaning using a person by either forcing them, frauding them, or coercing them to do something. How it looks in our community is, how it gets rooted in our community could be from the misunderstanding of what human trafficking is. That's why I think it's very important to provide that definition. It doesn't always look, or a lot of people only think it looks like kidnapping, but it could look like maybe you're at a restaurant and someone is not allowed to take a break, or they're not allowed to leave their job, or there's control. Someone is in the restaurant, let's say, and they're controlling someone's money, their ID, their phone. These are just some examples. Let's say you have a younger person in your life and all of a sudden they have these unexpected gifts or maybe expensive items, and they just met someone. So these are just some of the examples of what it could look like in our community, and they're not limited to just those three.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions, about some of the myths that surround the issue of human trafficking?
Yes, absolutely. Some of the ones we just talked about, one where people think it's only kidnapping. Another one is movement. People assume that trafficking deals with movement. You can be trafficked in your home. You can be trafficked in your town, in your city, and never have to move. Trafficking, once again, is about exploiting a person, using a person. People also assume that the trafficker has to be a man, and then the person being victimized is a girl or a woman or a younger woman. And that's not the case. Traffickers could be anyone, and the person being victimized can be anyone. For example, like I said, it's the business. A business can traffic their employees. Parents can traffic their kids, because once again, it's about exploiting a person, meaning using a person. And it does happen here in the United States. People assume, oh, it's only happening in other countries. If it can happen to anyone, if it can be anyone, then it happens anywhere.
Thank you so much for clearing that up. Excuse me. Can we talk a little bit in closing about the most significant threats in terms of human trafficking?
Oh, yeah. So I'll give you a few. Number one, it's a crime like any other crime that produces revenue. So, of course, it's a threat because there's revenue involved and it supports a criminal or a criminal organization. Another threat is that they will target those that are vulnerable in our community to be the victims of human trafficking. Another one is that this does go unseen. And that's the one I'm going to talk about as far as make sure you go to our website, which is bluecampaign.gov, to learn about what human trafficking is, the signs, and then how to report it so that this is no longer a crime that can go unseen and we can shine a light on it and raise awareness and then, of course, take those actions.
Erica, thank you so much for making time for us here in Atlanta. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, same. Thank you, Keisha.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we have all of the information that we need to do our part, to learn a little bit more so that we could do a little better for our kids. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this week's episode of Focus Atlanta. I hope to see you next Sunday here on CBS Atlanta.